just for you. Guitar tips. Hello and welcome to Guitar Tips. My name is Adam Levy and this is my video blog thing that I do. If you've been watching for a while, you may have noticed something, which is that I did 120 in a row, weekly. And then I took a little break, and then I came back to it, and more recently I've been posting kind of sporadically, just kind of here and there, not on any particular interval. And that works okay for some people. Some people like to have a routine where every week there's a new thing to be working on. And if that's you, if you like to have that kind of thing, then check out Guitar Tips Pro. That is the pro version of Guitar Tips that I have been developing for the last little while. It's a more in-depth thing. It's not only in that it's weekly, but there's also just more meat on the bone, so to speak. There are oftentimes there are PDFs of the examples that I've played. Sometimes there's MP3s that you can play along with, you can download. Every month I create, oh, hello, this is my cat, his name's Tempura. Want to say hi, buddy? Oh. Yeah, okay. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so there's playlists that I create, and yeah, there's t-shirts. If you like Guitar Tips, you can get a Guitar Tips t-shirt. There's video exchange lessons. You send me a little video of something you're working on, and I'll make you a personalized video and send it to you with some feedback on what you're doing and how you might be able to take it farther. Every month I create a solo guitar arrangement at Guitar Tips Pro. There's lots of stuff going on there that's more than what you can get here. But you are here, so while you're here, I'll give you a tempura. I think he is looking for dinner tips. That's a different channel. So here's what I wanted to talk about this week. This is a chord, A7 flat 9, that you may encounter if you play jazz or anything kind of jazz related. I mean, it doesn't have to be an A7 flat 9. It could be G7 flat 9 or C7 flat 9 or what have you. But let's just pick one. So here's A7 flat 9. The scale that sometimes people play over that kind of chord, a dominant chord with a flat 9, is this scale. Okay, and what that is, that's an 8-note scale. So that's one unusual thing about it. So here's the root, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we're back at the top. That's unusual, I say, because the major scale and the modes of the major scale and so on, those are all 7-note scales. This is an 8-note scale. That's one unusual thing. Another unusual thing about it is that major scales and their modes have kind of asymmetrical construction. Like a major scale goes starting from this root, or any root really, the construction would be the same. It's a whole step up, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. So again, from the root, that's whole, whole, half, whole, half. This scale that I played over this chord is just alternating half, whole, etc. That's your half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, and it would just continue. And the thing that makes it cool, that symmetry, is also the thing that makes it hard to really get a handle on, because it almost has kind of a Mobius strip quality to it. It just kind of keeps turning in on itself and doesn't, to some people's ears, doesn't have a very clear beginning or middle or end. It just kind of goes. And of course, when you make music, you want to have ideas that have beginnings and middles and ends. You want to tell stories with your melodies, and so it's a hard sound and a hard scale to get a grip on. So I want to give you just two strategies that I have found useful and that you might find useful in your own playing. One is to take that scale and eliminate the flat 9. So we're going to eliminate that B flat in all of the octaves. And that's going to give us this. Yeah, I skipped a note going up there. So coming down. So what you get is it's a much more kind of bluesy sound. Really, it's got that sharp 9 and then the third. It's got the fifth. It's got the sharp 4, which tends to want to pull up to the fifth. It's got the flat 7 and also the 6. So you can either go or either one of those. You got the third with the sharp 9. It's a cool sound. So when you can think of it in kind of a more bluesy character, I think it becomes easier to improvise with it and to really hear what you're doing. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 and so on. So experiment with that and do sing. I mean, as you can hear, I'm no special singer. Don't worry about how the quality of the singing isn't really the issue. If you happen to be self-conscious about it, just get over it. It's just more about connecting what's in your imagination with what's on the guitar, okay? So that's one strategy. Blues it up, lose the flat 9. The other strategy is kind of twofold, which is to think of this this sound as, if you look at this, it's really kind of a diminished chord. You can think of this as C sharp diminished 7th. So that would be C sharp, E, G, B flat, and it would just keep going. So if you can hear that, da, 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 right? So get that in your ear and then under your fingers first. And once you can do that and move around with it, okay, you get the idea. Once you can get around that, then you've got two different ways that you can get the other 8 notes of that scale. One is to just go a half step below each of these. So you've got this. Now you've got this. Half step below, half step below, half step below, half step below. You can also think of it as a whole step above. So here's, again, the arpeggio. You can have this. Then you can mix and match, so you can have like whole step above, half step below, whole step above, half step below, whole step above, half step below, and so on. And try to make lines from that. Again, start with the arpeggio and then explore all those other tones. You can call them neighbor tones. Half step below the arpeggio, you've got neighbors. Whole step above the arpeggio, you've got neighbors. Mix and match, make lines, own it, hear it. Yeah. Dinner soon, buddy, I promise, okay? Take it easy. All right, for guitar tips in Los Angeles, California, I'm Adam Levy. Stay tuned, stay well fed, and take good care.